widow to the late anti-apartheid activist Bantu Steve Biko, has been honored by the National Heritage Council with the Ubuntu Honours Award.
She's being honored for her community development work that embodies the values of Ubuntu. She was a member of the Ginsberg Education Fund Trust, which saw youth from the area getting bursaries to further their education.
Mam'Biko also chaired the Retired Nurses Association. The National Heritage Council says these values reflect an individual who is committed to fighting for the less fortunate.
I'm standing indeed with the recipient of the Ubuntu Award, Mam'Biko, a nurse by profession. Who was a nurse when becoming a nurse was still unfashionable. And I was just speaking to Advocate Sonwabile Mangcojwa, the CEO of the National Heritage Council, who was telling us why they chose Nontsikelelo Biko, why they chose to honor her. He was saying that they are looking for those distinct, unique women, individuals who still have those values of Ubuntu, the African values, because Umama was one of those nurses that devoted their lives in service of the people. Even after she retired, she became the chairperson of the Retired Nurse Association. I went with a group of women from community to community here in the Eastern Cape to establish community gardens, taking money out of their pockets, all to help poor communities. And therefore they are saying that it is befitting that they honor her with this award and recognize and acknowledge the work that she has been doing, that she continues to do, because she is one of the people who established the Steve Biko Foundation, the Steve Biko Center, and the center today is still alive and kicking and of benefit to the community of Ginsberg because of Mam'Biko, and today she has been honored. In fact, the award was given to her last week, but she couldn't attend, and today is the official handover of the award. Mama, how do you feel? You've just been given the highest award that the National Heritage Council gives to people, and you have been given it while you're still alive, a rare moment for many.
Good afternoon, Mdanam, and good afternoon to the viewers and to the listeners. This day to me marks one of those days I'll never forget in my life. I've always been doing things not knowing that people are observing what I'm doing. But today it shows that people are looking. People can respect what I did or what I'm still doing, because I'm still continuing with the work that I want to do. My passion is about community development. Yes, I was a nurse by profession. As I was saying in my speech, that I'm retired, but I am not tired. I still continue with the work, and what has been done today by the National Heritage Council makes me feel great and energizes me, gives me more energy to stand up and work, because there's still a lot to be done. Communities are suffering and we're not doing anything, or we need to do something. We need our government to assist us, because sometimes we do these things without money. We need the support of the government. So today is one of those days that I'm feeling great. It was so nice to hear people talking about me, and the biography that is there, that's me. Although there's still a lot that hasn't been included in it. But as we're talking here inside, that we'll be writing a book. I think this is one moment I think I need to. Thank you.
And what are some of the highlights of the work that you've done, where you say, having done this for this particular community, I am at peace?
When my husband died in 1977, they were running a trust fund for education of Ginsberg kids. Immediately when he died, well, there was that clampdown of organizations. But there were some funds left before the South African government took over the monies. But I continued with that trust fund, which later, it was not for a long time, because it was changed to Zingisa Trust. So I was out then, other people ran the program.
And now the National Heritage Council is talking of developing a book to depict the times, the life and times of Nontsikelelo Biko. What would you like to be highlighted in that book?
I want to be highlighted in this book as Nontsikelelo, and not as somebody who is under the shadow of Steve. I'm his wife, right? But I'm still Nontsikelelo. And I'm proud of the family that I come from, the Mashalabas, the Ndlovus, they made me who I am. So I want that to be highlighted in the book that we'll be writing, because Steve met me as an old person. I had my own upbringing, which might have been completely different from his, because he grew up with his mother and no father. His father died whilst they were still very young. But I grew up with a mother and father. So I've got those family values.
And lastly, talking about communities. Communities are in the state that they are in. Families are poor because mothers are raising their children single-handedly, and in one way or the other you reflect that, because at a very tender age you lost your husband at 30 and you had to raise your two kids, Kosnat, who was 6, Samora, who was 2. What would you say to those women out there that are struggling to get their families into order and raise their kids, and are struggling just to have anything, any type of support?
Knowing very well how much it is difficult to bring kids as a single mother. I'm fortunate enough to be a God-fearing woman. As I was saying in my speech, that I handed everything to my God and said, God, help me, because I've got kids to grow up. By the way, in 1988, I had my own daughter. I've got a daughter. So you can imagine bringing up 2 men and a girl at my age. But what I want to say to women who have lost their husbands, either by death or by divorce, any of those, I want to say, women, stand up and be strong, because nobody is going to do it for you. People have got their own problems. So if you are going to burden them with your problems, you'll end up not doing anything. In my biography, as I said, there are other things that are not there. I happen to be a patron of an organization, an association of widows. So there is there that we sit and talk about the disadvantages, not necessarily disadvantages, but the difficulties that widows endure after a husband's death or any time bringing up the kids, because we go through so many challenges. But if you tell yourself that you are going to be a mother and a father of those kids, and again, you mustn't forget to pray, because you can't do anything without praying.
Congratulations, and indeed you stood up and raised your kids and carried the baton. Today you are being honored in Koska Kulumama. Well, the wife of the late Steve Biko, Nontsikelelo Biko, saying that today is an acknowledgement that she was not just Steve Biko's wife. She was a woman of strength, a woman of stature in her own right, and will continue to help where she can in communities, and women need to stand up also and raise their kids and continue working hard and not rely on people, and make sure that we develop, we live in a society where people are able to do things for themselves. Indeed, she has been honored, and a book is on the cards in less than 6 months. There will be a book depicting the life and times of Nontsikelelo Biko, followed by a documentary which will be turned into a film. The National Heritage Council is indeed working on that.